It's time for the B.S.ing with the Guys live podcast.
Ooh, drum roll. We are back straight from the swamps of southern Louisiana. This is B.S.ing with the Guys. I am Shane. With me on my co-host, as always, Mr. Brad, Justin, and the little blonde is Kristen. Now, you're probably checking us out on YouTube right now if you're watching this, but I want to let y'all know that we are hitting a new internet radio station called Complete Chaos NOLA. That is over there on live365.com. Again, Complete Chaos NOLA. If you're listening to us on that, we want to welcome all the listeners. And, yeah, let's get into it, man. Y'all grab a seat, turn it up, and let's get into the chaos of this crazy-ass world. Justin, Andre,
Hey.
we were talking about this, before we get into the title subject, which, of course, is the text messages from Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin. I was scrolling. Well, yeah, we got to say alleged, but I was scrolling the internet and came across another firing that happened because of the Charlie Kirk mess. And I know you and I were talking in private about, we touched on that a little bit last week on the episode, and you kind of gave our feelings on people being fired over speaking their mind when it comes to stuff like the Charlie Kirk thing. And we've all had a week to stew on it. And I know, I think you were saying you kind of felt a little different way than what you were saying on the last episode.
Yeah, so I guess basically my take on the last episode was, that we bitch about the cancel culture the whole time, that the left's pushing it towards us, right? And for the most part, I still feel the same way as far as we can't sit and bitch about cancel culture, but then as soon as the left starts cracking jokes and making fun of shit that, we don't like them saying, then we start pushing cancel culture, right?
Right.
Now, I will say one that, I'm not for the doxing and getting people fired and shit like that, but that is also kind of, the conservatives' freedom of speech as well for the people that do. So I don't blame them either. But I think when you do speak out on especially deaths and assassinations and stuff, basically making fun of it, if you are any kind of medical provider or, EMS or something of that nature, 911 dispatcher,
Sure.
I feel like you kind of start showing a bias to where it's can we trust you to save a conservative's life if you're in that position when you're sitting here making fun of the assassination of a conservative? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and it's a good point. I mean, I guess it kind of, hey, I would rather them scream it from the mountaintop so we can see who these people are and get them out of a system that's designed to help everyone, like the medical, profession. Now, the problem is when you start firing people, it tends to make other people shut up. So you're never going to really know their true feelings. So it could still happen, I mean, somebody could not work quite as hard on you because, you got a Trump shirt on.
Right.
Now, I think that was a problem anyway before all this started. I believe it was going to be an issue anyway because of how polarizing politics are. But, it's a good point you make. I mean, you shouldn't have, any kind of public assistant type job where, you're going to be biased like that.
Right.
The problem is it's a natural human, it's an instinct. I mean, we all have biases. So I don't think you're ever going to get rid of it.
No doubt, and it is, but I mean, it kind of leads to like we saw in Florida with the FEMA,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Don't help the Trump sign houses.
Right. Yeah. And what needs to happen is kind of what's happening is people are getting fired over shit like that. And like you say, there is freedom of speech. There's no such thing as freedom of consequences. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And if you're a business, you have no choice. I mean, you have no choice. You cannot have people like that representing your business, no matter what side of the political aisle they're on. Now, what made me bring that up is a big one dropped a little while ago. They actually got rid of Jimmy Kimmel's ass on ABC.
They did.
Which is huge. I mean, that's
Suspended
crazy.
indefinitely.
Got his ass, man. And I was like, what did he say? Well, I look it up and, this is him, quoting what he said, we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang trying to characterize this kid who killed Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. Now, apparently he was still running with that nonsense that this kid was, some kind of conservative Trump supporting, right-wing lunatic.
Right.
When I think everybody almost from the beginning knew that wasn't the fucking case. I mean, it's like if you're taking out somebody like Charlie Kirk, why would you even get close to assuming this person was a Trump supporter? And if he was, then by all means, whatever, call him what he is. But why is that the first thing these people went to? It's crazy. Now,
well, I think the big thing was that he wasn't. He was past a Trump supporter, basically, right? It's kind of what the narrative they were trying to push was that he was kind of a Nick Fuentes type,
right,
far right wing conservative that
Yes.
like basically, it kind of I guess wraps up in the Jewish thing with the far right, and basically Charlie Kirk was kind of for Israel, and Nick Fuentes and whatever the hell he calls his groupies, they're not, right? So that was kind of the left's basis for why he would have assassinated Charlie Kirk if he was a far right,
got you.
So
I got you. I get you.
no,
What's
I'm
up?
not buying it, but
No. It and like I said, the point of the conversation was, people getting fired for expressing opinions, whether you like the opinion or not. We were kind of weighing on like, is that kind of infringing on their rights to say what they want to say? Because I see it being celebrated like quick as soon as they come out with somebody else has been fired. People are quick to start praising it and jumping up and down. And I mean, as a business owner, if I have employees that are acting like that, I guess you have no choice. I mean, that's
you don't when the general public is pissed at your business for
Yes.
basically
Talking
paying
about
these people
boycotting.
paychecks,
Right.
Yeah,
then
but-
it's like you do what you got to do. And like I said, I mean, I laugh at it when I do see the posts of them being fired because they did the same shit to us, but
sure.
I'm not partaking in it,
Yeah,
like I'm not
yeah.
hunting people down on the web to silence any of their opinions and try to get them fired and shit. But
I was gonna say,
like I said, I
don't
still find it funny.
Yeah, don't get it wrong. I'm smirking and laughing every time I see it too. Now, like you said, I'm not gonna be trying to dox people and hunt them down and get them fired. But I'm tired of the, the turn the other cheek mentality that our side tends to have a lot. And it's like sometimes you got to fight fire with fire, and that's exactly the type of shit they would be doing to us and then celebrating it out in the streets. They love when they were getting people canceled. So it's like, hey, it doesn't feel so good. People like Jimmy Kimmel, they got so used to being able to say whatever the fuck they felt like saying for too many years. And, because it was all directed towards Trump, which was, apparently it was, being excused. Nobody cared enough, which is whatever. Look, he's the president. I mean, you take that on when you're the president. I mean, they've all been the butt of jokes, every president. Now, they came after Trump, of course, nonstop, every freaking TV show you watch. But
Everyone.
yeah, he's the president. It comes with the job. So I get it. That there's no reason to fire, late night talk show hosts because they're making corny jokes and, about Trump. What happens is the ratings suffered. I mean, that's what they got from that. Well, apparently this is on a totally different level. The way that we sat there and watched an innocent man, get slaughtered right there, for the whole world to see. And you would think that even with as vicious as the left can be, that would have been off limits. And it wasn't, because they were used to saying and doing whatever the fuck they felt like saying and doing. And it's nice to see a little bit of pushback now. Even if you don't want to, celebrate the firings, it's like it's still good to see that the pendulum, it swung a little bit too far one way. It's about time it starts to come back, because I mean they've been untouchable for years now, and it's like no.
That's what I was just about to say. They felt like they were, No,
of course. Yeah, it's and when you start seeing names like Jimmy Kimmel getting his show getting pulled, it's like damn.
Right.
That's
About
good.
time,
And,
actually.
yeah, I mean, and you giving Bill Maher, he was on there talking with the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, on his podcast, and they got into the, the shit with the Charlie Kirk thing, and Bill Maher was calling out the people on the left that were celebrating this, and he was starting to, she's starting to realize that the majority of the violence is coming from the left, and this is a leftist saying that.
True.
I mean, he's an old school liberal. He's not like this new class of shit that we see. But when you got, voices like Bill Maher starting to, like, man, this is, we're getting a little crazy now. I mean, it's good to see that, because it was, man, shit was just going off the rails for a while. So it's good to see. But anyway, that was kind of what I wanted to ask. I know we had talked about it, like I said, and we kind of gave knee-jerk reactions to it last week on everybody getting fired over this shit. And, we've been able to.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, too. And it's like you said earlier, I'm not out to dox anybody. I think it's hilarious to hear the comments and what people are actually saying, which I think is kind of a sadistic kind of rebuttal from most of the left here, that these people are saying that against death upon somebody. But you have to, as a business owner, you have no choice. If it's a big corporation or if it's the mom and pop, and they find out who you are and where you work, and you don't fall that way, then look, I think you have no choice. I think you have no choice but to protect your asset of your business.
Yeah.
And anti-social media actually commented on the same thing you're talking about, saying it's still a liability if for your company if someone that cold about murder, assassination.
Absolutely.
How do you expect them to actually care about your company?
Yeah, it's a horrible look, man. You can't have that as a company. So I get it. I get why they were firing these people. It's not, it's not so much that these companies are against freedom of speech, but it's like you're representing us. I mean, you can't. There's plenty of companies, right? You can't just get on social media and even though it's in your personal life and just say and do whatever you feel like doing when you're supposed to be out there representing the company you work for, basically. And that's how these big companies look at it. So now it was kind of shocking to me to see them going this far because, like I said, for the last few years, I've been used to that side saying whatever the hell they feel like saying with no repercussions. And it's like, damn, like, are they really starting to, let people know, hey, look, you got to calm this shit down a little bit because it's the quote unquote freedom of speech in this rhetoric that the left has been, pushing for years that got Charlie Kirk killed. You know what I mean? Oh, well. Until the conspiracy shit that we're going to get into tonight. But, if you're just going by what they're telling you, it's, because of the shit that the left was spewing, as far as, everybody is evil and a Nazi and this, that, and other, and it just paints this picture like you're nothing, you're nobody, you're less than human. So it's okay if I take you out. And that's a dangerous game the left's been playing. So
it really is.
But
really
anyway.
is, for sure.
Like, what about them? Was it a Fox News van that had bombs strapped under it?
Was
or
that
shit?
Yeah, I scrolled past that headline. I didn't click on it to read what was going on, but I did see something about that. They found like it was active bombs. I mean, it was.
Yeah, it says. Let's see. FBI nabs 2 men for allegedly placing incendiary device under a Fox affiliate news vehicle.
Wow.
The bomb was found underneath a Fox 13 news vehicle in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to pronounce their names, but they are facing multiple charges, including
Apparently they were white.
terrorism.
They were white, and you can't pronounce their name.
Adil Justed Hamid Nasir.
He said, "Well, I mean, yeah,
Was white?
I've never heard a whiter name.
I swear I read that.
It's like Bob Smith."
Right, exactly.
Possessing weapons of mass destruction and possessing explosive devices. And Adib.
Oh yeah,
Nasir.
definitely Caucasian. Definitely,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right
Pure
there,
white.
from southern Mississippi is where he hails from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Fuck it, we're blowing up this news van." Apparently.
Yeah. Well, let's do it. Let's get on to the title subject, man.
Well, real quick.
Go ahead.
Ralphie says, "It doesn't surprise me that people who remove their own genitals are capable of violence." So,
Good point.
Well,
that is a good point.
It.
Anyway,
He said it, not us.
no, I'm just
So.
reading other
Yes.
people's thoughts. I like to include them in the show.
Absolutely.
All right, let's break it down now. The latest on this Charlie Kirk, assassination. All eyes have been on these alleged text messages from the suspect, that 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, to his live-in trans boyfriend, Lance Twiggs. Now, from what you see, it looks like a slam dunk, kind of evidence for the FBI. But a lot of people are calling, bullshit on this. I mean, the text message, evidence seems way too convenient, I guess. There's lines in it like, drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard, which, it leads Twigs to go grab a note that reads, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. So then after the shooting, Robinson is texting shit like, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out, after Twigs asked him, like, why did you do it? I guess it gets real sketchy when you look at the way that these text messages are coming through. It's almost scripted like a crime drama, the deliberate phrasing and blatant confessions in it. It's like, why text reckless details like, the only thing I left was a rifle wrapped in a towel, or, remember how I was engraving bullets, right after a high stakes, kill that you just did like that. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, in the oddly formal tone of it, it's like it was almost like it was for an audience beyond just his lover or whatever this, thing was that he was living with. I mean, it's, leaving a physical note if you're already planning on texting about it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then why confess digitally like you're begging, to be arrested? I mean,
Yeah.
and all of this was supposedly handed over to the FBI, all tidy, unredacted by Twigs, which is now their star witness. It seems a little too perfect. I mean, I guess the obvious questions are, were these really Robinson's words? Who's crafting this narrative? And we could take it a little step further. Did Twigs, which was Robinson's lover, did he know of this plot beforehand, or maybe even help take out Kirk, which, would lead one to believe that these messages could be a way to kind of keep Robinson's lover out of trouble. I mean, that's got the conspiracy crowd buzzing for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what say you, Justin?
It may be, a cover up of like, let's make it look like you didn't do anything. But I mean, honestly, to me, it like the note under the keyboard, right?
Right.
Maybe he didn't think he was going to get out of there alive, right? Like, I'm probably not going to make it out of here.
Point taken.
So I'm going to leave a note. And then he does. And it's like, oh, shit. So I feel like it's almost like they had conversations, obviously about disliking Charlie Kirk, and, the boyfriend was trans. So it kind of goes against what Charlie Kirk's talking about, So I feel like it was almost like a quick brag, like, look what I did for you to his trans boyfriend, like, look what I did for you. I shot this man that we both despise so much, and he just kept really talking about the gun. Like the boyfriend would ask something and he'd be like, I just couldn't take his hatred. But anyway, the gun is, like, my dad's calling me about the gun, da 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 da. So I just feel like he was an odd individual, and maybe just doesn't write the same way that we do through text,
But I mean, that oddly like that. I mean, Kristen, you're what are you now? 21, 22? How old are you now?
23.
23, sorry. So do you or anybody your age talk anything like those text messages? I mean, have you read the text messages?
No, but I'm normal.
No, you haven't read them, or no?
Yeah, I read them.
Okay.
But I mean, the people who commit crimes like this are not exactly.
That's what I was going to say.
Normal
do you or
people.
any of your friends get so deranged about politics that you want to assassinate a
No.
political speaker?
I mean, if I did, I'm not going to say it here, but no.
Not exactly.
No, but it just seemed so like every ounce of evidence was just laid out. You know what I mean? And look, and I'm not saying there was more to it than what they're, claiming there is. It just makes it for an interesting, conversation, because it's like the details in it. Like, why disclose half of what is all this, wrapped in a towel and all that? What the fuck? Like, that's on your mind to add little details. Like, how about, damn, I left the gun on the scene, I need to go back and get it. Why add little details like I left the gun wrapped in a towel sitting there pointing northwest, it's like, what are we doing here?
I feel like it was an addition to the like fingerprints of like, hey, I left nothing but the gun is there, da da da, like I need to go get the gun and the towel. And I feel like it was an addition. And like, as far as all the little details, like I was thinking about it as like, so his boyfriend, I guess, kind of, tries to think like a woman, right? So, I mean, I can't make a glass of milk without my wife asking me 17 different questions about how I'm making it and how many drops are going in the glass and, which side of the counter I'm putting it on, right? So it's like you just get questioned. So I can kind of,
But there wasn't, well, I get what you're saying. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. But there wasn't many questions being asked by this lover of his. It was more of like, why'd you do it? Well, because of this conversation, paragraph. And then it's like, OMG, are you serious? Dumb shit like that. Like, it wasn't like you know what I mean? Like, if you look back at the text messages, it wasn't really any kind of questions that deserved those drawn out answers. Now, like you said, individuals probably, he's strange. So maybe that's just his form of communicating. It just seems like whatever FBI agent wrote that forgot that they were trying to be a 22-year-old, and it just seems very, very odd to me. Brad, are you buying it, Brad, or what?
Not really. I really don't buy that, man. I just, God, there's so many rabbit holes that I've been down the last few days kind of prepping for this. And there's a lot of things I'd like to say about it, but I don't know if it's appropriate to bring it on. But I'll kind of take the fifth on it. But yeah, I agree with you because I went down the rabbit hole with the way they text. And I don't have any young children anymore, but still, even my children, my two kids that are in their 30s, there's days that they'll text and the words that they use, sometimes it's like it takes me longer to read that text because it's like, well, what the shit does that mean, dude?
Right, because they don't.
I don't know,
Yeah,
I'm
they don't
54 years
text.
old, dude.
Yeah, they don't text in long form.
Absolutely.
Every word is spelled
Yes.
out, and you know what I mean.
Yes.
It seems very fucking odd, and it's not.
Not
to say
that my
it's
kids can't text a normal sentence,
No,
but
but
when we're
I
talking
know what you
and
mean.
bullshit, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think
nobody-
there's more to it. I really do.
Yeah, it's like hardly anybody texts normal anymore unless you're
Yes.
70 and you're
Yeah.
spelling out every single word, and I mean we all do short form sending text messages.
Yes.
So I don't know, that's what makes it seem odd. I mean, I get what Justin's saying. The kid was odd apparently,
Yeah.
or you just don't go shooting people like that.
Unless
so.
there was
That
some
and,
voice texting going on. I don't know. Driving, paranoid,
Yeah.
voice texting. I don't know.
I mean, we've seen it time and
But it
time
just
again
sounds odd.
too of how differently huge amounts of adrenaline will make you act, right?
Yeah.
And think. And I mean, I can't imagine the amount of adrenaline running through you when you assassinate somebody and you're trying to get away. You know what I mean? So you got that. And did you see the? I think it was the Discord thread of the furry lover just talking to himself.
No, I didn't. I've heard about it, but I didn't see it. What was
It
that?
was like 18 different messages of
To
him
himself?
just messaging himself. Like he would say
Oh,
something and
Lord.
respond to himself. So they weren't
Normal
people. Like
to
they were
begin with?
odd. They were very odd, right?
Maybe so, and I guess so. It was the whole, a lot of the my love. You're all I'm worried about, my love, and all. It reminded me. You know what it reminded me of?
Right.
It reminded me of like a Civil War soldier writing a letter home to his wife.
Right.
It was like, what year are we in? This is fucking weird as shit. Just reading
Yeah.
it, but hey, maybe my old lady would love for me to call her my love all the time. I don't know.
Look, it was a
seemed odd.
a touching love story, right?
Yeah,
According to
which is what that asshole.
ABC News.
Right. I forgot about that. That anchor's
Yeah.
on there, basically, he's ejaculating while,
What an
talking
idiot.
about how touching this was between these messages between these guys. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Well, of course, he come out and put this big apology on X, but it's like, what even crossed your mind to describe anything this fucking psychopath is texting as touching? Like, get the fuck out of here. He should have been fired just for being stupid.
Yes, I agree.
It's not even because he's talking about, Charlie Kirk, just for being dumb. They should have got rid of him.
Yep.
But he's still around. Yeah, I was trying to, I mean, it's like, he makes his confession in these text messages.
Right.
He confirms the location of the weapon. He confirms the type of weapon. He confirms
Allegedly.
it's wrapped in a towel. He confirms his motive, admits to the bullet engravings, confirms the wardrobe change, which was another weird thing. He started talking about that they hemmed up that, some other guy because the clothes were the same. It's like, how did you know what this other guy was wearing already? Like, what?
Right.
It's just weird, I mean, he confirms how long he's been planning it, just randomly, tells his boyfriend that his dad is a diehard MAGA guy. I mean, I don't know. It just struck me as
Seems
very,
weird, huh?
very peculiar. Yeah,
Yes,
it does.
It really does.
And, you start going down these holes like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson are going down.
Yeah, they're going crazy right now.
Oh, that shit gets crazy, man. I mean, Kirk, Charlie Kirk, he was a vocal supporter of Israel throughout his career. I mean, that's rooted in his Christian beliefs and in biblical interpretation. So he visited, I think back in 2019, he visited Israel for nearly 3 weeks. It was with his Turning Point USA leaders, and he was engaged with the Jewish communities and receiving praise from Netanyahu and other Israel officials after his death. Now, they say, though, in recent months, Kirk has been hosting guests critical of Israel's policies, and such as Tucker Carlson and comedian Dave Smith, which is real critical on him if you've ever listened to him. But, they say he also expressed some private frustrations about the U.S. involvement in the Middle East conflicts, including the Israel-Iran war. Back earlier in 2025, supposedly he was, a little irritated about that and advocated for like an open debate on Israel within, conservative circles without endorsing anti-Israel views himself. But he was open to discussing that with people that do have those views. So, she's trying to say that basically he was kind of, turning when it comes to how he felt about Israel. And
Yeah, and as far as turning, maybe not so much, but I think he wanted to open up more discussions about it with the whole Gaza Palestinians, some form of ethnic cleansing. You read stuff that he was offered in August, $150 million influx of money from a guy named Bill Ackman.
Yes,
into the Turning Point, which he denied, and
Right.
then he was asked to go to Israel to meet Bibi Netanyahu, which he denied, and I think that took place in the Hamptons, and I heard there was a lot of discord about it, and I think he was getting to that point where I kind of was looking at the Ben Shapiro and him talking about it, and if you look at a lot of Ben Shapiro's facial expressions, like eyes were big, and like, God, I don't think you should be going that way, but so I think there's a lot of conspiracies out there. I think there'll be a lot of conspiracies to come about it. Was this guy the only deal involved with it? I don't know, but like I said, I went down a lot of rabbit holes about it, and it's just got my mind all kind of just going every which way, man, when you think about it.
Well,
it really does.
Is she essentially accusing Israel of having something to do with this? Or
It
is
looks
she,
like it.
is
Yeah.
she
I think
accusing
in her
his,
own way. Yes.
somebody thinking he's moving more towards anti-Israel, so that it wasn't Israel itself that did it, but a supporter. I don't know exactly what she's trying to get at here.
He's always been pro-Israel, of course, based on his religion.
Right, but
and-
that's what she's saying, that if you watch his
Yes.
patterns lately, she's making it like
Exactly.
he was starting to change.
He's opened up a lot of dialogue to talk about
Right.
it, right? Of with the Gaza and with Iran and regime change and moving forward with that. Yeah. I think he's now he was, well, not now, but now he was opening his eyes to like, well, I think some of this needs to be open for discussion of what they're trying to do and what are they truly behind, the Israelis. So,
Yeah. No, I get it. And I want to say, Tucker Carlson, I don't know, how much stake you put into what he's saying, but he's warning all of his followers to, distrust those urging silence on this assassination, which is kind of any, big situation like this. When people are telling you to, be quiet about it, don't talk about it, then of course it's going to raise some eyebrows. But, so he's another one that seems to, without saying it, he's almost leading to where, this may have had something to do with Kirk's death. I'm leaning more
Right.
towards it's just a crazy fucking a nut, but then you start seeing these messages that look like they were crafted by someone other than a 22-year-old.
yes.
But at the same time, I would think if you're gonna make up evidence like that, I just don't think you're dumb enough to forget that that kids don't talk like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like, why would you just don't put anything out at all as far as like
Right.
text
I
messages? Be
agree.
like, he didn't text, like
Yeah.
he
Right.
sent no text messages.
Yeah, I think, honestly, if I'm going to believe that these messages were real, I really do believe it was to cover up for this other person involved in his life, you know, his
I
lover or
agree.
whatever. I
But
think
Twigs? Yeah.
right. I think that
Yeah.
little bastard knows more or knew more about what was going on, and Tyler was doing this shit to protect him. You know,
Right.
that seems like that was the plan from the beginning. Is, you know, we'll do these text messages. It'll kind of exonerate you from anything. You know, because it seemed like he was really in love with this person. So he's looking out for Twigs. You know, is where how I kind of read into that. If
Well-
you're gonna assume that these messages are from him.
Did you see Candace Owens said she spoke with the boyfriend's family?
She
No.
did.
Yeah, she said she
Enlighten
spoke
me.
with them. And they were just allegedly not happy with the way that the media is trying to portray the boyfriend, that he was like a good, like, soft guy type thing. And he was like, allegedly the parents had to kick him out, drugs, alcohol, mental illness, obviously. And then neighbors of like the townhouse that they were staying at said within the like week of the shooting, there was an abnormal amount of traffic coming in and out of that townhouse
Right.
to where they noticed it. Like, that's not normal. What is?
Yeah.
So
Like
I think
who-
that's why people are leaning towards the boyfriend knows
Right.
and is involved
I
somehow.
100% believe. I mean, if
Yeah.
they're as close as these messages, like I said, assuming these
Yes.
messages are real, if they're that close, you know, where they're in love and shit, there's no way this kid was planning this shit and didn't mention it to his lover. I refuse
I
Yeah.
to
agree.
believe that shit.
100%. I agree.
You know, so it seems more plausible that, you know, this is a highly scripted kind of conversation on their part, you know, as an alibi.
yeah,
For
yeah.
right, you know, that's what it seems like to me. I mean, it's fun to dive down the holes and you know, you start thinking there's, you know, governments involved and all of this shit, you know, because it just makes a, you know, great talking points, I guess. But if I had to look at it logically, I think it's a big cover up text message, and I think that's why everything was so well, you know, stated in the text message about, you know, like I said, where the weapon was, where he got the weapon, you know, how
Yeah.
he did it, why he did it, when he, all this shit. I mean, it was
Just
like
pre-thought out messages.
exactly.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
me, that's not a normal message after you just shot somebody and you're just now breaking the news to the person you live with. Because for one, the reaction from the Twigs kid didn't even sound normal to me.
No.
Like
I mean,
surprise,
I would be
like, what
more
the
like,
fuck are
"Are
you
you
talking
fucking
about?"
yeah? Like, what are you talking about? Like, wait,
Yeah.
you did like, whoa, what the fuck are you like? Stop playing around, type shit. Like, what the fuck? That's not funny. You know, where
They
are
were
you?
probably sitting right next to each other.
Of course they were. Well, they
I
all-
wish we could get the location,
Right.
know.
figure
they're
out the
sitting-
location of where the
will.
text came from. Yeah.
didn't even
will
think
for
about
sure.
that. Yeah, they're
Sitting right on the bed next to each other. Okay, I'm going to say
Yeah.
this. Now, what are you going to say?
butt naked spooning, just
It's a good
texting
point.
each
Yeah.
other.
Very good point.
You're probably right. You know, I mean, it was definitely well thought out. You know, I just don't know. I say well thought out. It was thought out. I think they could have downplayed the details part of it a little bit to make it seem more
Yeah.
realistic. You know, but
Yeah.
you know, now that kid, he's definitely involved, and I think they'll get to the bottom of it because they're probably pressing him hard. You know what I mean? So, if I had
But
to
do you
guess,
think they'll ever let the people know?
what about Twigs being more involved?
Yeah. Yeah. The
I
true
think-
story behind it, you know?
I think so. If it's just cut and dry, you know, Charlie Kirk was assassinated by, you know, a crazy leftist. I think, you know,
Right.
it's usually when there's way more to the story, like this Epstein shit, that you'll never get to the bottom of because the government's involved. You know
Oh,
what I
you
mean?
said the magic word, dude.
Epstein.
Oh God.
Did I
Here
just
we
set
go.
it off?
Set the whole thing off, Shane. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
I know. Every time we mention that name, there they come.
Here they come, dude.
Trump is on Epstein Island, and y'all are pedos. And, yeah, it's coming. But want to welcome everybody just tuning in. You are watching B.S.ing with the guys, and this is what we do, a weekly live show. Just running our mouths about all the current events going on right now. Hot thing seems to be these text messages that came out, supposedly from these two lovers that decided to take out Charlie Kirk, allegedly. I guess we have to say that. I don't know why. But, I mean, hell, he admitted to it. So that
Yeah,
word,
what?
that word should go.
It's not allegedly. He did it.
Right.
But, you know, and I heard, like, I think they announced they're going for the death penalty on that.
Yep.
Yes.
I think he
Yeah.
was like, they were showing it, like fucking recording it. You know,
Yeah.
I guess he was like, I don't know, televised or whatever, you know, talking to the judge. And Yeah, so it looks like they're going to go for the death penalty. I want to say they do have the firing squad still over there.
Sure.
They do.
That would be
They
interesting.
sure do. That would be pretty cool. Can they televise it?
I
You're
think
right.
so. I think someone in Kirk's family ought to be able to take the one and only shot.
Hell yeah.
But that's
Eye
just
for an
me.
eye. Yeah.
What up, Johnny
Neck-
Five?
Neck for neck. Johnny Five, what's going on?
Johnny
He's
Five's in the
back.
chat. Deplorable Vets in the chat.
Oh, there come the regulars.
Dirty money.
Yep,
dogs out.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Yep.
I feel bad for his family.
Who?
Can you imagine having someone like that in your family?
Oh yeah, it is tough
Like-
on them, and they catch a lot
Sure.
of flack too. You know,
I know.
anytime
Yep.
somebody does something that heinous, and then the family always gets attacked too, like they had anything to do with this. I mean, it's kind of like when the news first came out and they were blasting him because he was raised in this Christian conservative gun-toting MAGA-loving family, like they had anything, even if that were the case that he was right-leaning, like his fucking family had anything to do with him,
Right.
assassinating someone. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I think they do. They get a a little rough.
That's just trying to push anti-conservative shit
is.
and,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
gun control and like, look, you raise your kids around guns and they're gonna start
this is what
assassinating
happens.
people.
Right.
You know, like get
Yeah,
the fuck
and-
out of here. Shut
And
up.
then you bring up gun control. That Tim Walz, he's of course, I'm heartbroken and angry about all the people who lost. We lost to gun violence this year. It's
Sure
time to
is.
ban assault weapons. Was his statement on X. And I think for one, ban Tim Walz from even fucking speaking because he's an idiot.
Yeah, well,
But it's like that's all he couldn't. He waited. If you noticed, he waited a few days. But that was the first thing he wanted to say when this news broke that someone was shot with
They do.
quote unquote assault weapon. He could not wait. It was just he was itching. Them Democrats couldn't wait till they could come out and start talking about
Yeah, I
banning
mean,
these
had
assault weapons.
the right not been so fired up, we wouldn't have even gotten a rest in peace Charlie Kirk from
Yeah.
him. It had just been straight to the ban guns. This
Yeah,
is what
and-
happens, and then he does it with a fucking bolt action rifle.
Thank
and,
you.
Like
That you took the thought right out of my head. I was going to say it wasn't even what they like to call an assault weapon. I mean, it was a bolt
that's what they
action.
assumed it was before
Right.
they found it, though. I guarantee
That was
they,
the-
they
fuck, that was the
knew
first
it
thing
was
I
an
heard.
AR-15 on
Yeah.
that roof.
That was the
Yeah.
first thing I heard because I remember thinking, not to get too, graphic about what was going on, but I've seen things, living things shot with an AR. And when I saw what happened to Charlie Kirk, I'm thinking, man, that's a fucking lot of fucking damage. Not that AR won't fuck you up, but I mean, I'm like, it was just the percussion and all from him being shot like that.
Yeah.
If you've shot an animal before, I mean, if you've done any kind of hunting, you kind of know what different rounds are doing to animals. And it just seems strange, but it was the first thing the media was going with because I heard it was an AR.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they come out and it's a, bolt action rifle with a little higher power.
everything's assault rifles with the
Everything.
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 dude.
Well, everything's an
Which
AR.
they consider
Everything-
automatic weapons for the most part.
It was an assault
Really do,
30-06,
An
dude.
assault 30-06. I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah. So I don't know. but
didn't
like you
even
said,
didn't he even brag about the scope was $2,000 or
Yeah.
something? And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, why?
yeah, like
Why
what are we
would-
talking about here?
Yeah,
And
why
it-
would you even, if it's true, why would you even bring that up?
Yeah, he
you
was
know?
so obsessed with this gun, and his dad's gonna find out, and it's like, what?
And it was his grandfather's
I
gun,
think the
believe,
Right.
scope.
right?
I think he was bragging about how good his shot was.
Yeah.
Maybe so, dude. Yeah.
because he put like a winky face after it. Like that $2,000
And-
scope worked.
And from what I understand, it was fake news that his father was a sheriff. Because
Oh,
in
really?
the text message, he said he's got a neighbor that's a sheriff that he's going to turn
yes,
himself
I remember
into.
that.
And then I saw somebody post that his mother, I forget what the career she's in, but the father was, he does something totally not related to law enforcement. So apparently, I don't know where that news came from the very
so he
beginning.
isn't a retired sheriff.
According to what I read, and according to what this kid actually said in those text messages, he said he had a neighbor
Yes.
that was a sheriff. And it's like if your dad's a retired sheriff, why do you have to go to a neighbor? So I don't know. I mean, that's
So it
just
is an Israeli op.
thank you. That's what it all leads to.
Gee, wow,
God damn
man.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Lord.
see it now. I see it now.
Close your
dude.
blinds, dude.
You figured it out.
I see it. What do y'all think about these theories of the bodyguards with hidden pistols and shit and their fucking gang signs they was throwing up?
You know what I think about it? I think that I regret even paying a second of attention to them, but they get me every time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
like, you people
Yeah.
are so fucking dumb. Like, stop,
Yes.
I seen the one where he was like squeezing, supposedly had like a little,
Yeah.
a little squeeze gun or something, which would shoot nothing bigger than like a 22,
Right.
And it's like, no, a 22 did not just do what happened
No.
to Charlie Kirk.
Right.
So that was dumb. And then,
Yeah, because it showed one dude in the crowd and he was like lifting up his sleeve or some shit. Like he
Yeah.
had a fucking gun hidden in his sleeve. And
the people posting this shit, they know it's not true. It's a shame that, to get likes and whatever they're going for on social media, that they would do that, because they, like I said, they're not, I don't believe they're that stupid. They find any movement somebody was making in the crowd at that point and say, oh, look, watch this closely, and they don't explain it. It's just watch what happens here. And it's like,
Exactly.
oh, Jesus Christ.
that, and did you see the one where they were, he was basically saying that the whole thing was a movie set? It was
I
all a
missed
movie
that one.
set. And so he was showing when they were dragging Charlie Kirk to that, whatever he was in, the Tahoe or whatever they throw him
Right.
in the back of. And as the camera pans, you see a guy like standing up by the wall with his phone out filming. And he's like, look, there's a cameraman there. And then it films
Oh,
over and he's
God.
like pointing at like sheets on the back of some car. And he's like, see, and that's where they're housing audio equipment and another camera. And then there's a lady on the hill filming. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I bet they were. A gunshot just went off.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure they
Yeah.
were filming.
I've heard everything from blood bags were, there, and it's like, God. Dude,
Like a mannequin neck somebody had.
Yeah,
where
right.
it was
Yeah.
video, they
Exactly,
were cutting a neck.
It's right back to, like when Trump was shot at, that, of course, that was fake also, I mean, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
it's, give it up, guys. I mean, it's if it weren't, I guess their side that was committing this shit, they, of course it would 100% real, 100%.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, for
It's
sure,
just
dude.
crazy. I'm thinking not everything's a fucking that big of a damn conspiracy. Don't get me wrong, they're fun to talk about, but when it comes to this, I mean, to sit there and call it anything than what it is kind of a slap in the face to Charlie Kirk's family. I mean, just like, when Alex Jones went on that shit about them kids that weren't, slaughtered at that school, according to him. Yeah, it's like, come
Sandy
on, man.
Hook, huh?
Yeah, Sandy Hook. There's certain things you can just leave alone, and
Right.
Well,
to me,
it
just-
shows he got sued for what, $1 billion?
He did a fucking $1 billion. Can you imagine getting that verdict? Like, whoa.
So Kirk's wife for president?
For president?
2020. She's going to be the first female president of the United States of America.
Yeah, it took me a few days. I didn't even know she had came out and made that video.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know at first. It was, I guess,
Yeah.
out for a couple days, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, she's on her shit. Like, basically letting them know you fucked up. Like,
Yeah,
this
she was
is-
mad.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
As she should be.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. But
Yeah, Ryan H. Why do Republicans hate kids so much? Why don't you answer that?
That's
Because
what
they're
Ryan-
annoying.
kids are annoying. That's a good answer. Did you see that? That speaking of kids, that old man that they arrested at first, who was claiming he's the one who shot Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
That he was hit with child porn charges.
I saw that.
What?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
man.
and that's from the New York Post, so it's not like it's from some random X account. But I was reading that the other day, and they arrest his ass for acting like an idiot out there. It's trying. He was trying to distract law enforcement so the killer could get away. And then I guess they went through his phone or whatever when they arrested him, and they got him on child porn charges. So I'm like, good for you, you sick old bastard.
Got him.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an
It's like,
idiot.
you would think you'd be the last one wanting to cause
Yeah.
a ruckus.
Yeah, he'd be on the ground like, ugh, don't see me.
Yeah, don't look my way.
Did you see Buddy cheering in the crowd and his
Yeah.
excuse as to why he was cheering?
What was his excuse? Because I did see
So his
him cheering.
excuse was that he was turned around and he was chanting USA to distract the shooter so that they could extract Charlie Kirk from the scene without him getting shot again.
I'm
So that's
sorry,
why
what?
he was cheering. It wasn't
That's what-
it wasn't because Charlie Kirk got shot. He was trying to distract the shooter.
Yeah, and I actually didn't even take it as he was cheering because he got shot. I looked at it like it was just some dummy that was just a bunch of commotions going on, and it's just one of those, yeah, dudes, like things are going crazy type people. I didn't take it as he was celebrating because he got shot, which I could be totally wrong. I'm just saying when I looked at him, he just reminded me of somebody that was stoned off his ass, just don't know what's going on, just a bunch of commotion. Right. So he's just like, yeah, bro, like something wild's going on. That's kind of how
he was
I
distracting the shooter.
Well, yeah, so. That's what he was doing, distracting the shooter.
Shoot me.
Yeah, that's the last thing I'm doing. I will say I got to give credit to whoever this bodyguard was behind Charlie when he got shot. If you watch that video again, not that anybody really wants to watch it over, but right when he noticed Kirk was falling out of his chair, he jumped into action and caught him. You know what I mean? Before he hit the ground. And doesn't seem like much, I guess, on for face value, but to me, I was like, that's pretty composed when all that shit's going on, that, you think to not really go, let me help myself. I mean, the fucking gun just went off. Charlie is falling, and you think to jump behind him and catch him. I thought that was pretty good, man, because not everybody's got that in them,
Well, that's the one that was giving off the gang signs, right?
Oh, that's the one that called for the hit?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that was him. That was him, but I was applauding that when I saw it. I was like, it's pretty good, man. But I guess, look, when you hire the best of the best, I mean, they don't get rattled in situations like that, because my ass would have hit the deck. I mean, that's like the Secret Service.
How long does it take to not, like, a gunshot goes off? It's like, oh, shit, that's not your first reaction anymore. It's to fucking jump and do something like, oh, shit, my job, a gunshot just went off.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've seen, like, the Secret Service wasn't even that good when Trump got shot at. You remember the woman that couldn't even holster her fucking pistol? She was so freaked out. She didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, he got, 3 shots off before they jumped up on the stage.
I know. You saw that, which, we could go
and
deep
they said
into
it took them 2 minutes to take that fucking Trump shooter out?
No, huh?
That's what I've read multiple times, like in just different, like, YouTube documentaries that have came out with
2
like
minutes
showing
for what?
It
The first shot?
2 minutes for Secret Service to shoot him
from the time
from the time he started shooting.
I don't know, because if you watch that video of that sniper on that roof, he's looking through his fucking lens. He pops his head up, and then he's almost got that oh shit kind of look. And then you hear a shot go off, and then you hear, I guess, his shot go off, and he takes out the shooter. I don't know about the 2 minute thing. I mean, at least the audio
2 minutes, because there was communication issues between Sniper Group 1 and Sniper Group 2 on who was going to take the shot. For whatever reason, it matters who's going to take it. I don't know, but allegedly there was 2 minutes between the first shot of whatever the fuck dickhead's name was, and
we don't know anything about him.
We have no manifesto, no nothing, huh? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. No,
Nothing has ever come to light of that.
Like I said, I didn't hear the 2 minute thing, because I just remember watching that video like I was talking about, and I mean, you see that fucking sniper spots him, and then he fucking zooms in on whatever the fuck he does, and then boom. It seemed like it was quick, like they let him get a shot off, but then they took him out.
Yeah, because when I heard that, I'm like, 2 minutes. I'm like, God, like just sit for 2 minutes after being shot out, and like, if that's true and it took 2 minutes to eliminate him, then Trump's like jumping in the air with his fist in the air while this active shooter is still on the roof, like scoped in, you know what I mean? Like, that's wild.
No, that is if it took that long, which that whole thing, I mean, that shit was either orchestrated or allowed to happen. I mean, we can, go down that fucking hole again, but I think, I think anybody with a brain knows Secret Service is not that incompetent. I mean, to allow that kind of I would hope not either. But I mean, just the whole point of that boy being on that roof and them not knowing is like, okay, that's
but it's like, what would be the better news, that they were incompetent enough to allow him on the roof, to sneak on the roof and pop shots off, or that there is a mole within the Secret Service that we don't know who it is? Now, I'm sure they do, but we don't know who it is, so it's like, I don't know what would be the worst revelation to come across, that Secret Service is stupid or that they're just fucking traitors.
Back then, there's no telling. Yeah.
I would think it's easier to explain stupidity because you can fire people for that
Yep.
than to say there's this orchestrated attempt to take out the president. I mean, that's like, world-changing news, like, oh,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
you know?
definitely.
So, yeah, I would think they'd go with the, well, she was just dumb. That's why she said that the roof was too sloped for snipers to be on it, because the roof was fucking flat as hell, and she said that. So what'd they do? They got rid of her ass, So, yeah, I think the easier excuse was, well, they fucked up. Secret Service just wasn't on their shit that day. Because what are you going to do? What is the American public going to do? Sit there and talk bad about them, but there's nothing you can do about it. But just to, go whatever they tell you, you just go with it because that's all you can do. I mean, so yeah, I don't know, man. That one there seemed a little, very fishy. This one with Charlie Kirk seems pretty cut and dry. I don't know about all that Israel shit, that all these people are coming out talking. I'm not too sure about that. Not to say it didn't have anything to do with it, but it just seems like somebody was just radicalized, a little too much.
Well, I believe he was radicalized, but then
But by who?
Yeah, exactly. I think there's more to it, man.
Yeah,
I really do.
There may be. And there may be. I mean, what you think how deep do you think it goes, Brad?
God, dude. I think it goes deep, dude.
Without, say without causing any stir on here. Like,
I think, when you look at the Jews, man, they run the world. They run the financial sectors. I believe they control pretty much everyday financial aspects of this country. I do believe Trump is beholden to them. I don't think Trump is his own decision maker, I should say. And
right.
When you look at it, that there is a higher source. It's just. Yeah, and like I said, it's all speculation, man, when we go down these rabbit holes. But I do think there's more to it, man.
I get it.
I guess follow the money. But
right.
I mean, how do you do that? But I guess it's follow the money and see why this kid got involved with it. In a way, I do feel like it was hate. I do, but it's like, I don't know. Is there more to it? And it makes me believe that, you read these text messages and then you look at it and it's like, there could be. There could be more to it, man.
No, and I get it. I get where you're going with it without saying it, because
Right.
I could tell you're trying to not.
Yeah, I'm trying to tread
just
lightly
out of respect
here,
Yeah, so I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
But
I am.
the messages make it to me like make it seem like there's a little bit more to it than just cut and dry. Could it be as simple as he's just covering his his ass or his boyfriend's ass and not wanting him to get in trouble? It kind of seems like that a little bit, but you're right. I mean, this shit could go deep, man. You start listening to what things like this Candace Owens and Tucker's getting on, and
sure,
and they're just to name a couple of the people that are on there, like really adamant that y'all don't know the whole fucking story, and I would be inclined to believe that people that do that kind of shit like they do for a living and they know the people they know, that they probably have a little bit of better insight than the
sources
public.
that they have. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not to say they're 100% correct about everything that they're out there
they're
screaming,
not.
but to put yourself out there like that and,
Right.
risk ruining your reputation or any kind of
they
credibility
could be the next
you
target.
have. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a pretty bold move, and I know Candace Owens is standing by it. She's like, "Fuck that." This is what's going on, and I will tell everybody.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. It's making for an interesting story, that's for sure.
Oh, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, hit that subscribe button for us. And we do appreciate y'all checking us out for sure. And we're now, I want to give a shout out to anybody that's just now listening to us on that live365.com. That's an internet radio, and they've got a station on there. It's called Complete Chaos NOLA. They have picked up the show, so if it's your first time hearing us on there, we do appreciate y'all listening.
Absolutely.
And, anyway, I've seen everybody's bitching about the NFL, the 5 teams that decided not to honor Charlie Kirk with a
heard a
moment
little
of
bit about
silence.
that, man. Yeah, heard a little bit about that.
I don't know if I'm not saying they should have been obligated to. I don't know how to really look at that, but I think it was the Lions, the Colts, the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Vikings were the ones that, for whatever reason, decided not to do it. And like I said, it wasn't like they were obligated to do it. It was a good gesture by a lot of the teams for sure. You know, I know the league came out and said that you know, they were going to leave it up to the teams as a personal choice. So, you know, I guess not everybody, like you said, had to do it, but a lot of people compared it to when certain people were bitching about them honoring like BLM and George Floyd. And
right.
I just don't think to compare Charlie Kirk to George Floyd does any justice for Charlie Kirk and what he was trying to accomplish and the positivity he was trying to bring to the world. You know, I think it's a you know, pretty shitty category to throw him in when you talk about a career criminal.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but that's just me. You know, that'll ignite a fire on here also. You know, but
Oh God, Willie.
if you're not bending the knee to BLM and George Floyd, you know, people start going fucking nuts.
That they do. Yeah.
But I did, like I said, I saw people kind of, you know, well, they were going crazy when, you know, they were trying to honor George Floyd. Now they want them to honor Charlie Kirk. And I'm like, I get it. Like, it's not the NFL's job to sit there and honor anybody like that. You know, and like I said, it shouldn't be an obligation. But to compare those two people is just an ignorant argument, you know.
It's two different ends of the spectrum for sure.
very,
You know? Yeah.
Very.
It really is. So far apart from each other. But y'all seen that story coming out of Mississippi this week?
Yeah, on the campus.
That young African American boy found hanging in the tree on the corner campus.
Now, was that
The police believe that there's no foul play involved.
Suicide.
Like they're not suspecting any kind of, you know,
So
malicious intent from anybody.
It's not what the media wants it to be?
No, but
Not at
they're
all.
not believing it.
Oh,
You
Of
know?
course not.
Yeah, I saw
so
that the cousin of the guy came out and said she saw some report that said his arms and legs were broken.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Is that somebody was saying his legs were broken, but the coroner is basically like, look, I can't comment on the specifics, but in my professional opinion, this was basically self-inflicted.
What part of Mississippi was this in? I'll tell you right now, if it was racially motivated.
It was at Mississippi University.
Oh,
I
it
think
was
the
at
University of
okay.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, didn't they, if I'm not mistaken, because it's kind of ringing a bell now, wasn't there two people they found hanging in
were.
Mississippi over the weekend or over the last week? But they were like unrelated,
Another
like in
one,
different
yeah.
areas. One of them was white, if I'm not mistaken. That was the picture of the one I saw. So, of course, you know, they couldn't relate that to some rogue lynch mob running around, but you know they wanted this one to be.
Oh yeah, because I see it already. Even with authorities saying that there's no foul play, they're like, no bullshit. There is foul play, and they know there's foul play. They're covering it up, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, and they knew that was coming, the you know, law enforcement. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, we talk about with everything that goes on that's tragic like that. There's not always a bigger story to it. Sometimes it's just cut and dry, and you know, and I get it now. If this was the 50s, and they were claiming that it was, it was self-inflicted, you could probably question it a little bit more. But
Right, and you think it'd be pretty simple to solve. Like I would assume most universities are probably covered in cameras, right?
You would
Yeah.
think.
well, true. So yeah, I mean, if you don't see anybody coming and going from the area except for him.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, and look, that may
think
have
it'd be
been some of the
simple.
evidence they looked at. I mean, they don't have to disclose all the evidence, you know, so there's no telling what brought them to that conclusion unless it was just a coroner's report. But, I mean, that sure didn't change the minds of the Jeffrey Epstein, you know, killing, because I know that Michael Baden, that coroner came out and said there was no way this dude, you know, hung himself. So, and
Yeah,
that didn't matter, so. Guess
The
it
only
don't
thing I
always
would
matter.
wonder about the coroner report and something as far as like somebody hanging from a tree would be like, what would the coroner look at differently? Like, what would it look like differently between you hanging yourself
because-
from a tree and
well, I'm
somebody
gonna tell
hanging
you.
you from a tree?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you're being strangled from behind, the injuries aren't going in an upward. You know what I mean? Like when you're hanging yourself, all the pressure is here because it's from the top. When you're
Right.
being strangled from behind, it's more of a straight back. You
Right.
know, there'll be bruising. There'll
Makes
be
a lot of sense.
Right. There'll be this. I forget the name of the bone, but there's something that usually breaks in strangulation cases.
Yes.
that's somewhere located within the neck and here. So they look at that. They look at a lot of the injuries. Like I said, if they're more on that upward pattern here, then they know, well, that was caused from the weight of the body, the gravity, basically. They look at shit like that. I mean,
Yeah, I guess I look at
coroner.
it like he went in the tree alive either way.
Oh, I
but
see what you're
maybe
saying.
not.
Opposed to somebody hanging. Yeah, I thought you meant opposed to him being strangled by somebody.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Opposed to
And
somebody
then
else
put
putting
there.
him
Oh.
in the tree.
Well, my God, the defense wounds I don't know. I would think before you let somebody do that to you, I mean, you would have skin under your nails and fucking, I don't know. You just seem like there'd be a lot of fighting going on before. But I don't know. I mean, they used to do it back in the day, I suppose. But, I don't know. I don't know what the coroner looked at,
What have we? I'm kind of moving back to Charlie Kirk because it just hit my brain. I'm sorry,
Yeah, go
but
ahead.
what's up with this book on Amazon, dude? That released the day before
Oh,
Charlie
don't start.
Kirk getting shot.
Don't
You
start.
didn't see that?
Not another one. What's this conspiracy? What do we got? What
Give me
book
one
was it?
second.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, because I didn't see that.
supposed to have this info pulled
I
up.
thought it was huge news.
Fuck. Well, it is. It's breaking news right here.
Breaking news right here.
You're
So
hearing it first.
the book is called "The Shooting of Charlie Kirk:
Come on.
A Comprehensive Aftermath and
Fuck outta
America's
here.
Response."
Stop
and
it.
it was put on Amazon September 9th, 2025
Stop.
for sale.
What?
Stop it, dude.
I swear. So everybody's like, "Who the fuck is this author?"
Dude, is that
And-
really
and It's been everywhere. Amazon has taken it down. Like if you click on the product link of it, it's gone now. But it had like one review, 1-star review, and like it was. I mean, it was only out for a day before they pulled it down. But look it up, the Charlie Kirk book on Amazon.
I'm looking it up. I'm asking Grok right now. Grok knows everything. So
Absolutely.
let's see.
I've been seeing it everywhere.
If you're, y'all bear with me. If you're,
Please ask Rock.
I'm digging. Let's see.
Digging, dude.
I'm digging. Let's see what he says. He's searching. Yes, there are multiple books about. Well, no, man, I meant before.
Fucking Grok.
I
Bitch.
asked it specifically if it was about, the death of Charlie Kirk before he was shot, and it starts naming all the books about Charlie Kirk, and it's like there are books written about him, such as Charlie Kirk. So I'm waiting to. In light of recent events, a new Kindle ebook titled "The Charlie Kirk Shooting: A Nation on Edge" was released shortly after his assassination. This one that they're talking about, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't hear that, man. I didn't hear anything about
I'm
that
seeing
guy.
it
guy.
all
No,
over
me
X,
neither.
dude.
Damn it, Justin! You don't have any fucking.
By Anastasia J. Casey.
And what's it called?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
It's
at. The shooting of Charlie Kirk.
Wow.
All right, let's look it up. The shooting of. Like, how can that even be a thing? I don't. Let me look it up.
Fuck, bro.
Y'all bear with, it, especially
Matt
if you.
says, fuck Grok, ask me instead. All right, Matt, what's up with the book, dude?
We don't need Grok. We got Matt.
Yeah, we got Matt on the fucking scene, dude. Yeah, what's up, Matt?
Published shortly. It just keeps pulling up
Everything
a
says
book of that. It's got that in the title. It's not the whole title, but it's in it, and it keeps saying it was released on September 10th. So, damn it! I thought we might have discovered something right here. Breaking news. B.S.ing with the guys. Nah. But
Did y'all see what happened at that motel in Dallas?
Uh-oh. But it doesn't sound good. Anything at a motel. What happened?
No, there's this guy like chopped someone's head off.
Did he?
Yes.
I mean, was it like justified at all, or was he like
It was-
a lunatic?
it was over a washer and
no.
dryer argument.
Yeah.
He was playing soccer with it in the parking lot. You didn't see that video?
No, I didn't.
Oh, dude.
God.
It was graphic.
So
I heard a little
In
bit
front
about
of
it.
like the wife and the son, I think.
what was the guy doing while he's getting his fucking head chopped off? Like, what were they?
Well, he was running from him at first. I guess he had like a machete or something. And then I think he like hit him a couple of times while he was running. So he ended up like falling. And then, I don't know. He kind of just like stayed in the corner a little bit. And I would think if he was able to, he'd be able to run again.
Yeah. So I guess
I don't know, but he just the wife was there screaming at the dude, and he's like just chopping the dude's head off,
and
and then
like,
kicks it across the parking lot.
damn.
Yeah, that's the only video I saw was when it was facing out towards the street, and you can see him like bowling ball his head across the parking lot or whatever.
No, I
he
saw
did,
the
and-
video of like when he was attacking this man.
I didn't see that one yet.
Wow. No, I didn't see none of that shit. I'm kind of glad I missed it. I can look
Yeah, you
after
and
the
me
Charlie
both.
Kirk shit. I've seen I've seen enough for a
Yeah.
minute. You know, that was fucking nasty.
Pretty
gory
brutal.
enough. Yeah, it was.
Pretty
man.
That's what
brutal.
I'm talking about. Weird, deplorable veteran said if somebody chases me with a machete, they're getting a 357 in the ass.
See, and that's what if he would have had a gun on him,
Yeah.
he'd probably still be here.
He would
Well, yeah.
absolutely still be here.
Yeah. And what city did you say? Dallas.
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 Mhm.
Yeah, it's Texas. They ought to be able to, be packing. But I guess not.
So
everybody.
apparently, the guy who did it was deported, or like, I guess he was put in like one of the little centers or whatever where they hold these people, and
Yeah.
Cuba didn't want him back because of his criminal history. So
checks out.
allegedly, under the Biden administration, they like released him back into the public, and then
Wow.
this is what we get.
So
Allegedly,
Cuba doesn't want him. That's when if you're United
they
States,
wouldn't take him back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you put him on a fucking raft and you push his ass back over there or something. You
Yeah.
know, like, if they don't want him back.
Yeah, be like, oh no,
we don't
I
want him
wasn't
either.
asking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we weren't asking. Take the sumbitch back. Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. I'm looking at the still photo of it, and you can see the head laying on the ground while he's walking up to it, about to kick it. My God, what is wrong with people?
I don't know.
They're sick, man. Man.
Motherfuckers are wild.
And I'll look at this, and it's like, you sit back and you look at the whole broader picture of everything, and it's like, is it really right versus left that we're in the society of today, or is it good versus evil?
Yeah, it seems to be. Yeah, just
You know what I'm saying? When
Right,
you
Which
look at
side's
a
good?
biblical standpoint and where we're at in today's society, it's I do believe it's more
Well-
good versus evil, and I just, God, the way they're going with all of this, man.
Well, and it's a good point you make, because we've seen with the Charlie Kirk thing, with the way that a lot of these liberal-run businesses or organizations are taking a stance against the celebration of someone being murdered in
Assassinated.
cold blood. Right. No matter what the political, differences were, you see people saying, "Look, that's too far." You know
it's
what I mean?
a little bit too far. It's extreme.
Right.
Exactly.
So it just
Yes.
shows that we all sometimes can come together and, like you say, team up against evil, which is what this
Right.
was, an evil act.
Yes.
Now you're always going to have your rogue, people that just want to sit out there and make noise on the internet and celebrate shit like that. But for the most part, people have come together on both sides of the political aisle and have condemned this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
I
I'm
agree.
with you. It's not always a political thing. It's just there's a lot of evil that goes on in this world. And for the
Yes.
most part, people are good and they recognize evil when they see it. And we can all agree upon that, for the most part.
Hey, anti-social media says we're missing breaking news in the comments.
What is it?
Somebody,
is it?
News.
someone named Corey commented saying that they, I guess, knew about the shooting, like in a Discord chat before it happened, like weeks before.
Well, I want to say, I know even Kash Patel, the FBI director, he had testified, and he was saying there was at least 20 other people that, he testified that there were basically more than 20 other users in the Discord chats with the alleged assassin. Now, just because they were in chats with him, I don't know exactly what he's trying to say they were saying or what they knew. But apparently this kid was all over Discord, and I've heard stories that the conversation was going on this Discord shit, about what was going to take place. So, I as much as I appreciate, someone trying to bring breaking news, I have heard that, that before. So we appreciate, that for sure. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything to it. Like I said, I know Kash Patel is saying that, but the way it's worded, it doesn't really say that they were in the chats talking about it. It just says, more than 20 other users were in Discord chats with him. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah, that's what I was looking
have
for.
Corey's comment up there. He said, "Y'all may not believe me. I was told months ago this man would be killed, and I have no clue who he really was then or before now." is what Corey is saying.
Corey,
in the comments.
why don't you go ahead and disclose who told you that? Get him on the show.
Come on.
So that's the breaking news that we're missing.
Ah,
is Corey
okay.
was told that he would be killed months ago.
Okay. I thought he meant that, these kids in this Discord chat, because like I said, I've heard the news that it's been talked about online. That supposedly there was a big group of people talking about it, but
Yeah, exactly.
so Corey, so he's saying he knows someone.
Yeah, and then somebody else responded saying why didn't you contact the FBI? And you just said, how was I supposed to know these people are serious online?
Yeah, Corey,
Johnny Five says,
my advice, I'm sorry, Justin, my advice to Corey would be lawyer up
yeah.
because they're coming for you.
I would say so.
Johnny Five says, I don't know if he's trolling, but someone needs to investigate him. Talking about
See, I
Corey.
told you,
Corey,
lawyer
I
up,
mean.
buddy.
Yeah.
Can't just go screaming
Coming
shit
for you.
like that out in the
No.
comment section on YouTube, man.
Absolutely.
I know a good lawyer if you need one, buddy. Hit me up.
Juan
So-
LaFonta.
Juan LaFonte.
And I like what
Whose
Christy
story?
says at 9:31. It's spiritual warfare. Dude, I truly
yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
truly. When we talk about good versus evil, and I think we're in those times, man.
Yeah, I
really
tell
do.
you, man, I've over the the majority of years of my life, I haven't been real religious in any way, and the more you start paying attention to things, you almost start to kind of come out of that a little bit and think that there is
Yes.
something higher,
Yes.
working right now, whether it be against things, for things, or both. It just seems like I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot of arguments, when it comes to the religious stuff, but at the same time, I got a lot of shit that just doesn't make any sense in my mind. That it's hard to be explained other than something bigger than us. So I'm not
it
really
is.
sure where I stand with that. Yet I just know it. You start to kind of really think about things. Now, like in the Charlie Kirk situation, I mean, the big argument when it comes to religious shit was, why would the Lord allow that to happen to someone like him? And then the pushback on that is, well, the devil's always at work.
Yes.
So basically shit like that happens, which is a great cop out. I mean, it could be true, but I mean, it's easy to just explain everything off to say, well, that's the devil. So I've always had that kind of argument in my mind, like, it just seems like an easy answer for everything. God seems to be a little cruel, man, when you start seeing what happens to children and, shit like that is what's kind of what used to push me away from that religious stuff, is just watching the evilness that goes on in the world, thinking there can't be this all-knowing, all-powerful being and allow this kind of shit to happen. And that's not my argument saying that he doesn't exist. I'm saying that's where my mind used to go. Just trying to figure out why does shit like that happen? And like
Because
I just
we have
mentioned
free
with-
will, Shane.
True.
Because we
Oh,
have
yeah,
free
yeah.
will. Yeah.
Right.
We have free will. We make our own choices and
Sure.
our own decisions, and we have to live by that. And
Yeah. No, and that's a good. You're right. I forgot about that as an answer I've heard a lot. That the
Yes.
Lord isn't here to make you do things.
No.
He can try to guide you if you believe in what the preachings are. It will guide you in the right way. But he's supposedly not around to control what everybody does. Is what I've heard. I don't know. It usually gets me when, like I said, when you start seeing children become victims of just terrible crimes, and it's like, who the fuck would allow that? If you had the
Exactly.
power
Yeah.
to stop that, why wouldn't you stop it? Is always
true.
been my question with that, But anyway, we ain't gonna sit on here and go on the fucking religious rants. That could lead into a 5-hour-long episode. Point is, I do believe there's evil in this world, and
Plenty of it.
yeah, and as long as we all can somewhat come together and try to fight against it, then maybe we'll start
Yes.
moving in a better direction,
Ryan H. What are we ignorant about?
Everything.
Yeah, he's
I agree with
commenting all
Christy.
night.
It's your bedtime. The grown-ups are talking.
Yeah, what are we? I mean,
I love her, dude. Yeah,
Christy.
absolutely. I've been watching all her comments.
Yes.
Bring it on, Christy. Yeah, you're spot on, Christy. Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan,
We don't know we're
what did
live in a
Ryan?
vacuum.
Ryan said everything. That's what we're ignorant about.
Like what?
Ryan, just subscribe, brother. That's all.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, spread the message for us. Spread the gospel about BSing with the guys.
And then go to bed.
True.
Yep.
Yeah, take a nap. So,
So
Zach,
what story are y'all signing on to with this Venezuelan boat that was blown up by the U.S.?
well, give me the options of the story.
So
and I'll tell
one
you.
option is the official story that it was basically a boat full of drug pushers and drug smugglers that they basically took out. You know,
like
they
it.
said, "Hey, y'all aren't coming through here." They knew we were there. They came. We blew them up. Right.
I like it. Go ahead.
And that's the second time, right, Justin? This is the second time, right?
No, this is the first boat that from
gotcha. Okay.
weeks
All right.
ago or whatever. But so what I'm hearing from some left-leaning news sites is that it was a boat full of Venezuelan migrants escaping Venezuela, and it had 10 plus just Venezuelan citizens in the boat that were trying to escape the president of Venezuela that we blew up.
Well, there's always two sides of the story, but
who's claiming that?
I've been
is it
seeing it
just
just
like-
on left-wing, left-leaning
okay.
media,
Okay.
and
say no more.
Yeah,
but I haven't been seeing anything on right-wing media, one way or the other, past when the original story broke that we blew up a Venezuelan drug boat.
yeah, because
and
I
then-
heard that side of it as far as
Right,
it was
so-
a drug. Because I want to say the president of came out of Venezuela and was condemning it. That they blew up that ship, but he didn't say they killed innocent people, which I guess he wasn't going to say they killed innocent people fleeing from our brutality. So I guess he wasn't going to throw that out there. But no, I hadn't heard the other side of that there were, innocent people on the boat. I don't know.
And they just blew up another one too, right? A couple days
Did they?
ago. Yeah.
I didn't see the second one.
Trump
Yeah.
don't fuck around, huh?
No, you don't fuck around, dude. And I guess that's drone attacks, huh, dude? I guess
It's
that's
got to be, yeah.
It's
I
gotta
think
be,
it's
you know.
coming off the warships out there. Don't we have a bunch of ships off the coast of Venezuela?
Yeah, we got 'em
Yeah,
all
now
over.
that you're saying it, I think I
Them
remember
motherfuckers
them.
got bombs on them, I promise.
Yeah, they do.
Didn't Venezuela just declare war on us? Wasn't that
Oh
the thing?
shit! Should we hide?
Jesus. Yeah,
Well,
good
I
luck
think
with
that's
that.
how unimportant it is
That
nobody
nobody
really
even knows.
It's like Venezuela's like, we declare war, and we're like, okay.
Like, look, man, I'm eating right now. Leave me alone.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
We
Damn.
talk about this after football ends, man.
Yeah, we'll worry about this war after the season. Calm down.
Matt said AI.
Ooh, yeah. Well, all I'm reading reports here that Jimmy Kimmel is reportedly, quote, fucking livid
He's livid.
over his show being pulled, and I love it. Fuck
Nice.
Yeah,
him. Fuck him. He was horrible during these elections, man.
he was. He's
he
nothing
was, like
more
I
than
said-
a left political activist.
Yeah,
dude,
he
you
was
know.
part of the fucking problem, with the,
He really
the
was.
rhetoric that was being pushed that leads to despicable acts. He was part of that shit, and fuck him and his job. So
Yep.
Mm.
It's
that's
over
how I
with.
feel about it. But anyway,
Yeah,
let me
fuck
see.
Jimmy.
Let's see what Gavin Newsom's bitching about. Buying and controlling media platforms, firing commentators, canceling shows. These aren't coincidences. It's coordinated, and it's dangerous. The GOP does not believe in free speech. They are censoring you. Now, this is from the same asshole that had one of the strictest fucking, states running
Right.
when all that COVID shit was going on.
While
You
he
know,
was
he-
eating these elaborate
Right.
dinners at the French Laundry and all this bullshit.
Yeah,
exactly.
and
dude.
he's
Yeah.
done come out before and condoned, government taking action against people that post shit online that
Right.
could be looked at as, false information, but yet it's the GOP that doesn't believe in free speech. Yeah. So Gavin Newsom's not happy, which is good. I like to see that too.
Is he ever happy?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
I don't think I've ever seen him like.
He's gonna
like-
be happy in 2028 when he wins that
Be happy.
presidential election. It's coming.
I think
It's
it is
coming.
too.
It ain't.
Dude.
He got a shot.
All right. Any last thoughts y'all got before we get off of here?
Fuck the ATF.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, the ATF is gay.
Fuck them all. We appreciate y'all checking it out. Again, we are B.S.ing with the guys. If you hadn't subscribed yet, please do it. We really want to thank y'all for watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Seriously, y'all. It means a lot. We'll be back next week live talking shit. We'll see what kind of breaking news is going on then. So until then, y'all be good.
Straight from the swamps of southern Louisiana. Straight from the swamps.
Straight from the swamps